again. Wrestling Matters, Dez. And I'm here to talk about a few things today. So I'll just get into it. Let's start with a topic that I've been talking about lately and on a few other pages and stuff. Women's divisions. Now, this ain't really pointing a direct finger at anybody in particular, but of course TNA and WWE are at the top of the list, and they are the biggest sinners in this, you might say. As you know or you don't know, I've been watching wrestling for over 40 years now. Participated for 5 years in an indie circuit in New England for a while. Never made much money, never had but really good gimmick. I'm not gonna put the blame on anybody but myself and the times of when it was. You know, it was the time of big guys, and I'm not a very big guy. With that said, the women wrestlers back in the day could wrestle. I mean, I look at, let's take the WWE, and you have crap. You have Natalya, and you have Tamina. Other than that, you ain't got a wrestler in the bunch. And I'd rather see them shut the women's division completely down than bring up another beauty queen hack job up on the main roster. It's time to forget about beauty and let's get some real talent. TNA, same thing. They got a couple, maybe wrestlers, but for the most part, you're there for exactly that, the TNA. The solution, WWE really needs to bring back people like Beth Phoenix, Karma, people on that level, people that can really wrestle. They may not necessarily be the most beautiful women in the world, but we're not there for the Spice Channel, ladies and gentlemen. We're there to watch wrestling. TNA, you could bring back Roxy. You could bring back Alicia Fox, or I think that was her name, not Alicia Fox, Alyssa Flash, or Alicia Flash, or whatever her name is. She was a freaking really good wrestler. You need to get some other faces in there that can actually make the other girls work for it. Make them look stupid if they can't keep up. So they know, hey, it's not just going to be handed to me because I got a pretty face and a nice ass. Because at this point in time, both WWE and TNA are guilty of this. You know, bring back some of these girls that can go, that aren't scared to bleed, that aren't scared to friggin' break your leg. That's what they need. Until that happens, I'm not really giving two craps about either company's women's division. And that's just my honest opinion. As a 40-year-long fan, I don't care. Right now, they have total crap in the women's division. Went back a few months ago, and CM Punk is kind of taboo on Wrestling Matters right now because I'm kind of really pissed about the whole, how it all went down. I'm going to tell you my real outlook on it here, whether you like what I got to say or whether you don't. Hey, that's how it goes. CM Punk, whether he was hurting and needed time off, or he was being a crybaby and took his ball and ran home, regardless of how you look at it, the man broke his contract. Now, people go, well, people didn't act like this when Stone Cold or HBK or this one or that one did it. You know what? I looked at it the same way when every guy did it. You're being a little bitch. When the Ultimate Warrior did it, I said that. When Stone Cold did it, I said that. When HBK did it, I said that. It's just the nature of the game. Whether or not you come back from this or you don't, I still have less respect for you because you broke your word, you broke your contract, and to me that makes you less of a human being. Really. I mean, I got no respect for people that do that. You're a level above a drug user in my book, but, you know, if I ran any of these companies, you wouldn't see a lot of people anymore because it's just how I would do things. You break your word, you're no good. I don't even want you here. I don't care if you broke your word with me or the other guy. You broke your word. And how can I trust you if you're breaking your word with the other guy? And that's really my take on CM Punk. Personally, I think he's a whiny, crying little bitch because he was all set to go for WrestleMania until he found out he wasn't in the main event. And then it was an issue. He's not that great of a wrestler. The guy's phenomenal on the mic. But you're just not that good. And to sit and cry about it makes you even worse. But moving on, you know, there's a lot of things going around about the Macho Man should be in the Hall of Fame, and Owen Hart should be in the Hall of Fame, and this one should be in the Hall of Fame, and that one. Let's get this a little clear for a minute. For those of you that don't know the situations, Owen Hart and Randy Savage both would legitimately have already been in the Hall of Fame if it wasn't for, in Owen Hart's case, it's for his remaining widowed wife. She's put up a roadblock in front of the WWE when it comes to anything that has to do with Owen Hart. They can use what's already in existence as far as, like, if Owen's in a match in a pay-per-view or a Raw or a SmackDown or something like that, or a video that's already in existence, they can use it. As far as making like a new video package, the greatest matches of Owen Hart or anything like that, she puts a nail in the coffin immediately over it. I've heard some word in recent months that she, with help of the other Hart brothers and stuff, she's might let Owen actually be inducted in the Hall of Fame for the fans' sake and for Owen's sake. And I'm really hoping that goes through. I mean, but she's been known to say one thing and shut the door at last minute on WWE. So keep your fingers crossed. Maybe it'll happen. I'd like to see it myself. As far as Randy Savage goes, the story goes that, and this is third party saying, you know, it's Lenny Poffo basically saying that Randy Savage would be willing to go in the Hall of Fame if WWE inducted Angelo Poffo and Lenny Poffo. So that put a halt on it because, you know, first of all, what has Lenny Poffo done to deserve to be in the Hall of Fame of anything? Second of all, you know, I will agree to you know, there's a lot of people that get into the Hall of Fame that don't belong there, and I know Angelo Poffo is a great wrestler, he's a legend. Does he belong in the WWE Hall of Fame? That could go back and forth, you know, but the bottom line is Savage would have already been in the Hall of Fame if it hasn't been for his family's demands. Now, again, this is another thing that I've read in recent months, that the family is taking a turn on it and might actually let the WWE induct Randy Savage by himself. Let's hope it happens. Well deserved, in my opinion. You know, there's guys in the Hall of Fame that I'd get scorned for saying don't deserve to be there, but That's my opinion. Randy Savage certainly belongs there. It's a family holdup. It is what it is. Keep your fingers crossed. Maybe it'll go through. I'd like to see it myself. I had a few other things, and there's a lot of things going around lately about TNA they're doing a hype up poll thing on their ring. What shape ring was better? Ooh. Does it take a genius to figure this one out, TNA? I think people have been saying since you changed it to bring back the six-sided ring. Now, I'm in agreement with JR. Your ring shape doesn't make you a better company. Does it give the fans something else to look at and make it a little different? Yeah. I thought it was a good gimmick for TNA to have a different ring and to be a little different than WWE, to look a little different than WWE. Did it change their quality of wrestling or anything? No. Did it make the matches better? No. Did it give it a more appealing look? Yes. Why? Because it was different. That's that. On that. I know I said like a week or two ago about talking about wrestling federations and stuff. As we all know, there's WWE, there's TNA, there's ROH, there's Dragon Gates, and there's a bunch of other ones out there. Ohio Valley Wrestling, Jeff Jarrett's new promotion that'll be starting up here soon, Global Federation Wrestling. My big new thing is this. I would like to see, of course, there's that new one with Billy Corgan too, I forgot. I would like to see a wrestling company really step up to the plate and get a national TV deal like TNA and like WWE. Not this bullshit TV deal that ROH has, but a real TV deal. A national TV deal on a national station where everybody watches it at 8 p.m. or everybody watches it at 9 p.m. Just like TNA and WWE. I want to see a company step up and really put some pressure not only on the WWE, but anybody else. TNA, GFW, Billy Corgan's new federation, I forgot what the hell it's called. But really put some pressure on it. Now, whether that's Dragon Gate, Ohio Valley, ROH gets a better deal, whoever it may be, I don't care. But I'd want to see somebody really take the initiative, really grow a set, and step up and say, hey, we are going to do this. We are going to challenge you, and we know we're not going to beat you, but we're going to take a piece of your pie. And that's what WWE, TNA, any other company, that's what they need. They need somebody in there that's taking a piece of that pie and making the other guy work to keep what he's got. Because the less he works, the bigger piece of that pie this guy gets until it's like this. Now, anybody with half a brain knows that WWE is never going to go from up here to down here. I mean, it's just not going to happen at this point in time. It's not possible for anybody to build up. How do you want to say it? To build it up big enough to put nobody's going to put the WWE out of business. In other words, it's kind of like going, well, I'm going to start up a football club, Vince, called XFL, and take on the NFL. Not going to happen. You know, it's too established. It's been there too long. And as interesting as it may be for a minute, everybody's going to go back to the Super Bowl. The same idea goes for any wrestling company. As interesting as Slammiversary or Starcade maybe, or whatever it may be, whatever they want to call their big pay-per-view, everybody's going to go back to WrestleMania every April. Why? Because everybody knows that's the top of the line. That's where it ends. Once you've done WrestleMania and once you've done main evented WrestleMania or been in WrestleMania, there's nowhere else to go that's a bigger event. Really, there isn't. Anybody that says there is out of their mind. But I really would like to see, Cornette's a genius. I liked Cornette. I'd love to see Ohio Valley Wrestling somehow get a national deal. ROH, what I've seen of it, they got phenomenal work. Though I will say, if they got to get a national deal, they're going to have to step up their production. ROH's production really makes even ECW look really good. I mean, it's hard to watch sometimes because the production on the television show is really lackluster. If they stepped it up, though, they'd have a phenomenal show. And, I'd like to see them. I mean, Dragon Gate, what I see from some of their matches is pretty good. I'd even go with AAA or CMLL and get them an American-based show, with their wrestlers. Don't bring in no American wrestlers and shit and try to integrate it. Just bring in some American broadcasters that know what's going on and can translate and whatnot, and show your product, man. Because when I watch AAA and this and that, I put it on mute. Because, again, 40 years of watching the shows, if I don't know what's going on, I shouldn't be watching. But it's nice to know what the storyline is of what's going on with the storylines and stuff. Because that's what makes wrestling, obviously. But the matches are phenomenal. I mean, so I'd like to really see that come in the next year. I'd like to see somebody really step it up, And I'd like to see more than one really step up, really put pressure on some of these other guys. I want to go and touch base on some of the fans going, about missing ECW. Hardcore wrestling in general. This is something I despise. I hate hardcore wrestling. I think it's hack work. I think it's spot hounds, no talent, wannabes. That's all it does, hardcore wrestling, in my opinion. Okay? And the reason why I don't like it is, there's quite a few reasons. One, there's no technical wrestling. And two, it's like getting blood just for the sake of getting blood. After a while, it's like the Saw movies. You can't shock me anymore. I've seen it all. And everybody goes, well, Vince ruined ECW. Well, no, Vince didn't ruin ECW. ECW went bankrupt. Vince bought the rights to it. But Vince never had any intentions of running ECW like Paul Heyman ran ECW. One is it wasn't making any money the way Paul Heyman was running it. And two, your longevity of guys is significantly shortened. Take a look at any of the real hardcore wrestlers from ECW, Balls Mahoney, New Jack, all these guys. They're in such Raven, Mick Foley. They're in such rough and horrible shape that, you almost feel bad for them when they walk out to the ring because you're like, God damn, son. You need a walker or something because they're in bad shape, man. And Vince sees that and he goes, yeah, he may not give a shit about your health, But you know what he does care about is, hey, this storyline's planned to go on for a year, and if you can't stay in the ring, what the fuck? I can't keep the storyline going. And excuse my language, I know we usually run a clean page, but you just gotta, you gotta look at it that way. Bottom line is hardcore wrestling isn't viable for a fan today. Now and then, a hardcore match is good if you got the right guys for the match. And let me explain that. The last pay-per-view, Extreme Rules, Daniel Bryan versus Kane, was one of the crappiest matches I ever seen in my life. Why? Kane is okay in a hardcore match, yeah. But Daniel Bryan excels at technical wrestling matches. High, fast-paced, technical moves, or high-flying moves, stuff like that. He's not so exciting when you're watching him get hit with a kendo stick or hitting somebody with a kendo stick. It doesn't thrill me. When you plan a hardcore match, you really got to plan it with the right guys, first of all. And you can't do it every week. I mean, you can't do it. It's like the whole theory with blood. Blood's awesome, blood's this, blood's that. It's not really that great. If you see it every week, it's boring. And I mean, this day and age with all the bloodborne pathogens, do you really want to see blood all the time and have one of your guys catch some crazy-ass bloodborne disease and never be able to wrestle again? I don't really care to see that. I don't need blood for it to be a good match, I guess is what I'm getting at. And I don't need it to be a hardcore match for it to be a good match. I need good wrestling. And I understand a lot of that is hard to come by this day and age, but there's still real good wrestlers there. It'll happen. It'll come around. Things come around. They go full circle. Other thing I'd like to see, and I'd like to touch base on, and this is strictly WWE. This is a bone I have to pick with them. You got guys like Alberto Del Rio and other guys like that. I won't get into everybody, but he's a prime example. You can go on YouTube and look at anything from Don Cost Jr., Alberto Del Rio, and that guy is a phenomenal wrestler. Phenomenal. His matches in the WWE, lackluster. Why is that? Because WWE is dead set on a certain style of wrestling that they won't let them do the things they did in other companies in Japan and in Mexico and stuff, because they think their fans can't follow it for some reason or other. And I would have agreed with that if we were talking 20 years ago. The fans wouldn't have been into it. Nowadays, the fans want to see more technical and high-flying and crazy wrestling. And I think WWE really needs to look into letting some of these guys integrate more of their style into the WWE style to pull more fans in. But other than that, I don't know where wrestling's going next year or so, but there's definitely some interesting things popping out there with GFW. Billy Corgan's show's already got a contract with, I believe it's A&E. So, some interesting things going on. You got something you want me to talk about? Tell me in the comments. I'll see what I can do. Look it up. Look into it. If I don't already have an opinion on it, I'll look into it and give you my opinion on it. Please give us some comments on how you like these videos and whatnot, and we'll catch you as soon as the next thing I got on my mind rolls around.